So today I'm pleased to talk to you about the SP processor architecture. SP stands for Secret Protected Processors, or Secret Protected Architecture. First, I'd like to start off with some background of where I see the computing trends going and the trends in attackers going. So in the computing landscape today, two things are very clear. One is there are processors everywhere. And the second thing is that they are not standalone processors, they're all interconnected, and they're interconnected through public internet and wireless networks, okay? Emphasis is on public, so that everything going across these networks is easily monitored by good and adversarial people. So the issue with processors everywhere is that even the simplest devices have software that can run on them. And most of our portable devices will have downloadable software that may come from many different parties, including not necessarily trusted software from third parties. As far as the trends in attacks goes, there's an increasing trend of attacks going from attacking networks only to attacking servers and then to attacking the actual client devices. So that it's not sufficient just to consider security on servers and on networks, but it is also necessary to consider security on even the smallest sensors and also the client devices like PDAs and smartphones and so forth. In addition, client devices are very good targets for attacks because they have users who are not necessarily security aware or security motivated and do not want to be bothered with the frequent downloading of software security patches that appears to be the modus operandi of fixing security bugs today. Furthermore, there are millions of client devices out there and billions of sensors and other embedded programmable networked systems out there, which could significantly increase the chance of attacks from adversaries. In addition, in things like the Wintel platform, you have a homogeneous platform where if the attacker finds one hole, he can attack millions of devices. So, if you're thinking from the point of a user of a commodity device, what are the concerns that he's most worried about? Well, different polls of users have shown that the first and foremost thing a user is concerned about is the protection of his sensitive information. Okay, this could be his medical records, his bank records, or other important work-related transactions, and so forth. And in the public network environment of the current computing infrastructure, you had to consider the protection of your sensitive data not only in transmission, but also storage both locally and remotely, and also during execution, because information can leak out during execution as well as during transmission and storage. Other things that the user is concerned about is protecting his computer from internet-scale epidemics, things like viruses and worms, and he may or may not be concerned about his machine being used as an agent in a distributed denial of service attack. But the DDoS attacks are one of the serious vulnerabilities where holes in the client devices can cause bad distributed denial of service attacks to other sites in the internet, not only damage to the user's own machine. So users are also reluctant from having their machines being used for such purposes, to attack other devices or to access their own sensitive information. And in general, they are reluctant to have their machines used for these purposes through remote takeovers. So all these above concerns need the presence of computing devices that are in some sense trustworthy or that are security aware. Okay. Not only to protect the user's own data, but to protect the security of cyberspace in general. So I've talked about the introduction to this talk, and I would like now to jump right into the SP architecture, where I hope to show you how we can provide some hardware to protect the user's critical secrets in a little better fashion, to provide enablers for a little bit more protection for a user's critical secrets. And then I'll show how this relates in the framework of the SecureCore research that we are doing with NPS and USC and Princeton participating, and summarize.
So your primary goal is to protect secrecy, not integrity?
Yes, that is a primary goal, although we also protect integrity, as I will show you as we talk, okay? So the usage model is that you want to protect a user's sensitive or critical information that belongs to the user in this case. In this example, I'm going to talk about protecting the user's own sensitive and critical information and consider attacks on data in storage, transmission, and execution. The goal is to show that such an important security functionality, number one on many users' minds, can be achieved without compromising performance, cost, or usability, okay? And by focusing on the ability to implement SP in small client devices, we force ourselves to think of minimalistic architecture rather than architecture that is rather heavyweight and can only be done on big servers, okay? The usability assumptions is that the user wants the model of his information miraculously stored online and accessible by him through these client devices from anywhere in the world and through the public networks, okay? Furthermore, he wants to access his secret or sensitive information stored online through multiple client devices, not through a single client devices. So the model again is one user, he has many documents, and he's going to protect these documents by encrypting them, however with different keys, okay? And he's going to try to access these documents from multiple devices, okay? Some of the documents are more important and some are less, okay? Some are just a $3 movie rental and others may be critical information that would lead to disastrous outcomes if this information is reviewed. So when you don't want people to get access to information, there's at least two broad ways to do it. One is you prevent them getting access to the information. The other is you throw the information around, anyone can get access to it, but they can't interpret it. And that is the method we will choose. You cryptographically encrypt the information, throw it on the public networks, and even if the adversary gets to the encrypted information, it's of no use to him because he can't decrypt it if he doesn't have access to the keys. So we are going to try to protect the keys from any kind of attacks on the client devices or across the network. But the basic idea is you protect all this information, any amount of secret information with any number of keys, and just let the attacker get at it, but protect the keys so that the attacker cannot interpret the information. Now, the model of the client computing devices is the same as has always been. Here is the processor chip on the left with its on-chip caches and registers, and there's the off-chip cache memory and all the IOs, including the network and so forth. In current trusted computing group assumptions, that this entire box is considered the security perimeter. And so that, I think, is a little bit too dangerous. What we consider is that only the processor chip is the security perimeter, because it is way too easy to probe a bus, to read the disk, to read the main memory and so forth. But it takes a little bit more skill and special equipment to probe inside the processor chip and to get something reasonable. So since we're going after commodity devices, we are not going to consider probing the microprocessor chip as something that is easy to do. Therefore, we can consider the microprocessor chip the security perimeter. So anything inside the microprocessor chip, we can consider safe. But anything outside, including in the off-chip cache and the main memory and anything on the buses and the peripherals, we consider unsafe and subject to attackers, okay? Now, mainly we are considering software attacks across the network. So these are highlighted somewhat in red, some examples. For example, software can access the disk. Okay, it can, in supervisor mode, the software can access main memory or even the on-chip cache and registers. On-chip cache, and the OS in the interrupt handler could access the registers. Okay, so we consider all these kinds of attacks. Now, because these are devices, they are easily stolen or lost, so we also consider some kind of physical attacks due to device theft, like the probing of the main memory, the disk, and the external buses. But the dotted line to the processor chip indicates that we are not concerned about physical attacks probing inside the processor chip. Okay, so this kind of describes a bit the threat model that we do consider.
So you're not looking at tamper protection of any kind?
We are not looking at hardware tamper proofing and consider that an orthogonal problem. So if you want to hardware tamper-proof your microprocessor chip, that's fine. But even if you don't hardware tamper-proof the microprocessor chip, we feel it is quite hard for the average adversary to probe inside the chip and get anything useful. But anything inside the box, it's very easy to probe.
So you basically are ignoring sort of the electrical engineering computer science student.
To probe inside the chip?
Yeah.
I don't think in general it's that easy for them to probe inside the chip. But they can probe inside it in terms of software, as shown, okay?
Yeah. Right.
They can compromise the OS and read the registers on an interrupt, okay? Yes.
So to go on that means there is a implicit assumption that the processor chips are already performing as per their intended.
Yes. The processor chip is probably expected to perform as intended, as designed, but the software it runs is not. Okay. So in general, what we are saying is we assume that all the software out there is vulnerable to attacks, including the commodity OS. In this environment, which is very true of real life, can we provide some protection for the user's keys, which then encrypt all his other information? So, as I've already described, we reduce the security perimeter from the box to the chip, which is a lot better than the TCG assumptions on TPM. And I'm going to show you a peek preview of our solution. We are going to add some small additions to the processor. Okay, so here is the basic processor with its execution core and registers, the L1 and L2 caches, and the L2 unified cache. And what we're going to add are 4 new registers and 2 flags, okay? Just 4 registers, the largest of the registers being 128 bits. Now, we all know that's not very much hardware. In addition, we're going to add some secure I/O logic, and we are going to add an encryption and hashing engine for things going out and coming into the chip, okay? Now, this looks like a lot, but if you draw it to scale, and in addition, we add a couple of tags to the cache lines that are on the chip, okay? So if you draw it to scale, really, we're adding a tiny little bit to the core of the processor, which are the 4 registers and 2 flags, and a tiny bit to the peripheral, the bus interface, where with the encryption hashing engine and the secure I/O logic, and a couple of flags to each cache line. So if you look at the beige stuff, which is the added stuff, it's a really small addition to any microprocessor chip. Okay. Now, in the rest of this talk, I'm going to try to give you an idea of why each one of these registers and features is necessary. Okay. And I don't think we can delete any of these. We can certainly add more functionality, but it is difficult to delete any of this. Now, I probably can skip this. We are going to use some cryptographic tools like symmetric key ciphers and keyed one-way hash algorithms for integrity checking. We will not need to use public key ciphers in this hardware implementation, okay? And as we all know, symmetric key ciphers have much shorter keys and much easier to implement, much faster than public key ciphers, which have not only longer keys, but need more hardware to implement and take longer to execute. So, a summary of the SP architecture. The goal is to keep the user's keys private to the user, and his keys then encrypt everything else. So what we do is we introduce a new trust model. I'll go through all these items in detail, but I want to give you the overview first. We introduce a new trust model, and the basic assumption is most of the software and hardware is untrusted, except certain things need to be trusted. The piece of software that must be trusted is something we call the TSM, the Trusted Software Module, okay? And this is the only piece of software that may perform operations using the protected keys. So any application that wants to use these protected keys must use the TSM, the Trusted Software Module. And by Trusted Software Module, we mean not only that it is secure, but it's correct, okay? It is correctly implemented as well. This hopefully is a small piece of software amongst the sea of untrusted applications, okay? We use an encrypted keychain to reduce the amount of secrets that need hardware protection. And we define something we call a concealed execution mode that protects the execution environment of the trusted software module as the trusted software module is executing. And this requires very few new processor features, a small addition to the existing microprocessor architectures, and also secure input and output of some nature. Okay. So let's go through these items.
Clear. Are you going to try to encrypt the instructions as well as the data, or is this just focused on the data?
I will go through that. Could you hold the question? It is not necessary to encrypt instructions, but hash the instructions. However, if you wish to encrypt them, you could also. But the basic model does not, okay, encrypt instructions. Ask again later if it doesn't become clear, okay? Let me go through these 6 items first, all right? So the new trust model says, in the old trust model, you have rings, okay? You have the OS kernel being the most privileged in ring 0, and then ring 1, ring 2, and maybe the unprivileged application software in ring 3, but in any case, there's hierarchical rings. Now, in the old model, you might put your secrets protected by the OS kernel, but since we say we don't trust even the commodity OS, we won't want to put our user secrets to be protected by the OS kernel. So we define a disjoint region of trust with respect to these standard CPU protection rings. And any piece of software in any ring that wants to access these user secrets has to go through a new API, which is the Trusted Software Modules API. Okay. In other words, the Trusted Software Module, as I have mentioned earlier, is the only piece of software that can operate on the user's secrets.
Essentially, you're trying to build a security kernel for the commodity device, in a way.
I'm trying to layer an orthogonal trust model on top of a commodity OS and commodity hardware. Okay. And hopefully, I'm not building a whole secure kernel.
Because your underlying assumption, you're saying that the microprocessor hardware can be trusted, but not the software and not the OS kernel. So from my perspective, I was seeing some similarities.
Yes, notice that the OS kernel is sitting over there in the old region, and the trusted software module is not necessarily a kernel. For example, the trusted software module could be a piece of software inside an application in ring 3 and may not have any access to ring 0 or ring 1. Okay, so it's not a kernel in the traditional sense. Okay, so the second point is this encrypted keychain. So here we go with all these documents that have to be presented, and they are of different value, encrypted with different keys. You encrypt them with different keys, and then you can furthermore encrypt those keys with other keys. And finally, you have a root key, which we call the user master key. Okay. So you can have thousands of keys protected by protecting one key. If you protect the user master key encrypts the keys below it, which then encrypt the keys below it, which then encrypt the information. You may be protecting all this information. And all this information encrypted can be thrown on public networks in public storage and accessed by the adversary, but he cannot decrypt it. Now, there's really no reason why you must have a single user master key. It's just convenient for users with bad memories, but if you wish, the user could have several keychains with several user master keys. what it is that the user only needs to remember something, maybe a passphrase, that will then undergo some hashing to generate this user master key. And the hardware needed to support it is some sort of secure I/O logic that will take the input from the user, whether it is a user passphrase or a biometric or whatever kind of user authentication method you want. But the hardware, through secure I/O logic, which does not go through the operating system, okay, the new piece of logic, will take the user's input and generate the user master key and stick it in that user master key register. Okay, so that's the first critical secret we protect. It's the user's user master key that encrypts his whole key chain. Yes?
Just to elaborate on the user master key, this feature does not actually enhance the security. It merely create a convenience for user, right? Because if the attacker wants to attack, they can still attack the data which is encrypted at maybe at the key 3, key 4, key 5 level.
Yes, but they can attack that data, but they can't get to those keys, the key 3, key 4.
But I mean, it's as good as how key 3, key 4, and key 5 is protecting the data. If they are using a simple algorithm that can be a simple encryption algorithm that can be broken easily, for example key 3, then they can still access the data.
Yes, yes. So if you use bad encryption algorithm with key 3, there's no protection. Okay, assuming you use good encryption algorithms and key 3 is a strong key. Okay, you don't now need to provide protection for all the thousands of keys in hardware. So in hardware, you only protect the user master key. And this is just one model of how you might protect thousands of keys, which then protect 10 million documents. Okay, so we are trying to see what are the fundamental things hardware could provide to enhance the security that the system could build. Okay, and we are saying that one user secret is essential. Okay, and this user secret we call the user master key. Now, the idea is the user master key does not stay there forever. The user inputs it in a certain way that I'll describe later, under certain secure conditions, and when he's done, he removes it, okay? So that it does not stay around. It's not a burnt-in secret, and it is changeable by the user, okay? So that shows this amount of logic that's needed. So now we've talked about the new trust model, the trusted software module, and the hierarchical keychain. And now I want to talk about the concealed execution mode. What this says is while you're executing the trusted software module, you may leak out the key information, okay? And this is what we want to protect. And we call this SEM, or the concealed in execution mode. There turns out to be at least 3 aspects of the execution mode that you have to protect. One is you must protect the integrity of the program, okay? The other is you must protect the trusted software module's data in main memory and in the caches, okay? Whether on-chip or off-chip. All right, and you obviously, if you protect it in main memory, it gets protected in the disk also, because if it's encrypted in main memory, it'll go encrypted in the disk, and it'll go encrypted out on the network. Okay, and as we said, since the OS could be compromised, you have to protect the contents of the registers when executing in SEM mode if this SEM execution gets interrupted, because the OS would see, the compromised OS could see all the contents of the registers during interrupts. So how do we do this? Well, first, the code integrity checking would check the program's integrity. So initially, you take your TSM code and you have to hash it together with the address of the instruction cache line. So we hash this code in terms of the instruction cache line. And so if we have a 64-byte instruction cache line, we would save the last 16 bytes for the MAC, okay, the keyed one-way hash for the message authentication code. And we use another key called the device master key. Now, I distinctly separate this because the user master key was protecting the user's secrets, which follows the user around from device to device. It has nothing to do with the devices, it has to do with the user. Whereas the device master key is protecting the execution environment of the device when it's executing the TSM code. So you take the TSM code, you hash it every cache line, and the idea is that when you have an instruction cache miss and you bring instructions in for the TSM onto the chip, you're going to check that hash. If the hash does not verify, you cause an exception and you don't ever put bad TSM code on the chip. Which means to say, whenever TSM code got into the on-chip caches, it is good. Its integrity has been checked. Now notice we didn't encrypt the code as a minimal requirement, but we do hash every code line in the TSM. If you wish to further encrypt it, that's your choice. Okay. Now, as far as protecting the data that the TSM executes on, there's two general philosophies. One is if you're outside the security perimeter of the microprocessor chip, all the data exists only as ciphertext. So it's encrypted and hashed, okay, before you store it in off-chip cache or DRAM or send it over the network or store it on the disk. But inside the security perimeter, because this is inside the security perimeter, we can allow it to exist as plain text, but we tag it so that we know this data, when it goes out, has to be encrypted and hashed. Okay. So let me describe the whole thing in terms of the memory instructions and data cache lines as to how it may work. So here, the thing on the left is the microprocessor chip, and everything inside is inside the security perimeter. Outside is the main memory. So let's say we bring in ordinary instruction cache lines, which is code 3, or data lines. So you just bring it in, it doesn't do any decryption or integrity checking, and nothing is set in the new tags on the cache lines. But if you were to bring in secure code, those instruction lines from the TSM will be integrity checked, and when they go into the unified cache, the secure instruction tag will be set to blue in this case. That means the secure instruction, this is a secure instruction line. Now, if you bring in a secure data line, the secure data tag will be set, okay? And similarly then, when you bring instructions into the L1 instruction cache, they will bring the secure instruction tag with them. So when you do the instruction fetch from the processor's core of the L1 instruction cache, you will know whether this is a secure instruction line or not. And if it didn't check out, it would never have got onto the chip in the first place. But everything is in plain text now, so there's absolutely no performance hit. And similarly, when you bring data from the L2 cache to the L1, it will bring a secure data tag. Now, another side benefit of this method is that you can detect hostile code insertions that were inserted as data. So if you try to insert a hostile instruction line as data, even secure data, it will not bring its blue tag over to the L1 instruction cache, and therefore if you're executing as TSM in SEM mode, you will know that something's fishy.
So is this tag set in the memory and as it's brought over from memory?
No, this tag is set only in the on-chip caches. And as it goes out to memory, it will be encrypted and hashed before that cache line gets evicted out of the cache.
So how does the L2 cache know that a particular piece of code it's bringing in from memory is secure code?
Yes, because there is an instruction. Okay, the L2 cache knows it's bringing secure code if it's in SEM mode, and there will be a SEM mode flag set.
So all the code it reads at that point is going to be assumed to be secure code.
Yes, and will be integrity checked. Okay.
And integrity checked.
Now, as for data, there's the normal load and store instructions, and there's the secure load instruction and secure store instruction. If it is a secure load instruction, it will do the decryption and integrity checking. And if it's a normal load instruction, it will not. Similarly, for a secure store, if it is doing a secure store, it will set the secure data cache line, which says that when that secure data cache line gets evicted out of the cache, it will go through encryption and hashing. So anything outside that is secure data is encrypted and hashed.
So the compiler then somehow, when it generates this code, figures out how to do the hashing, add the hashing to it?
The compiler only has to figure out has to leave the space for the instruction cache lines. Okay. So when the compiler, when it generates instructions, it has to assume every cache line there will be 16 bytes at the answer for hashing, so they can calculate branch targets and so forth correctly. Okay, but the hashing for data occurs through the hardware function at the bus interface of the chip. Okay, as it goes out of the chip. Now notice that with this method, there's no performance impact on the processor core, which is not shown. You know, the processor core that does the iFetch and the loading, storing, executions works with plain text just as before, okay? And it's only at the boundary to the memory, in fact, on the L2 cache miss, that you have a little extra time for encryption or decryption. And since the L2 cache miss is very infrequent, plus it's already like several hundred cycles, adding say 20 or even 100 cycles to it is not a penalty. It occurs maybe 1% or 2% of the time. Okay, most of the time you have L2 cache hits. So this is almost no performance penalty. We evaluated the spec benchmarks, and only a few programs had up to about 1% of penalty. The rest were all way below 1% of performance penalty. So here you've got hopefully more secure system with no performance hit, and as you can see, no cost hit because it's such a little bit of additional hardware. Okay, yes.
That means for your secure, your concealed execution mode is something like a hardware abstraction layer that talks directly to the microprocessor chip in order to provide a secure environment for the operation of your TSM.
I only hesitate at the term hardware abstraction layer, but it's something like that. There is something between the TSM and the SP hardware that bypasses the potentially corruptible OS. Okay. So what is needed to support the SEM execution? Well, this other secret, the second secret, which is the device master key that does the encryption and hashing, so that encryption hashing engine, and the two little tags in L2 and one little flag, these are single bit things in the L1 caches. Okay. So now the next thing is the corrupted OS may see the contents of the registers when it interrupts a TSM. Okay, so what do we do about that? Now the idea is it's a commodity OS, you don't want to change it. I mean, can you do it? Can you protect the register values during interrupts without changes to the OS interrupt handler? So what we do is we take all the general purpose registers and consider them one plain text message. We encrypt it with the device master key, okay, because it's still part of the execution environment. And we get one ciphertext message that we just kind of put back in the registers, okay? This is all done by hardware. And then we create a hash of that encrypted registers and save it in the SEM interrupt hash register. Okay. So if the OS tries to come back from interrupt with a different set of register values, it won't pass the SEM interrupt hash check. And furthermore, if the OS tries to come back into this SEM thread at a different location, it will not be allowed because we also save the SEM return address. And the SP hardware will check on a return from interrupt that was the correct return address of this SEM interrupted thread and that the register contents were the same. So the only thing the OS can do is replay the same register contents, which is fine. It cannot replay a different set. Okay, and that's how we protect the registers. You can see that the OS handler, interrupt handler is unchanged. It just happens to save and restore encrypted registers, which it can see, but it cannot interpret.
So you don't do nested interrupts?
Of SEM threads, okay? The SEM, currently there is only one SEM thread at a time, and you don't nest the SEM threads. Now, we may decide to expand this in the future. So, there are many ways to initialize the device, and there are many ways to use the device. But here's one of the most simple ways, okay? So what happens is there are two LEDs and two buttons being round, and initially one button says whether the device master key is ready and the other button says whether the user master key is ready. So device initialization happens on secure boot up. You got to have secure boot up. And initially, the device master key may not be ready, and so it will be read. You kind of press that button to say initialize the device master key, which is done only in secure boot up. It will generate a new random key, and it will store it in the device master key, and the button says blue. So you've got a good device master key. After that, your device master key is held in the only non-volatile register amongst all these registers, so that you don't have to do this every time. You can keep the same device master key. And this device master key is not generated in the factory, it's generated by the user when he gets hold of the device. And if he gets paranoid and wants to wipe everything out, he changes the device master key. But in general, he does not. He sets the device master key and it stays through power up and down. Okay. So next, if he wants to use his keychain, he does user initialization. So initially the user master key LED is red, saying there's no user master key. He inputs his passphrase or his biometrics or whatever, and that gets hashed and generates the user master key. Then the LED says green, now you've got a good device master key, a good user master key, and you're set to go, okay? Of course, the device master key also prepared the TSM by hashing every cache line. When you're done, you press that button again. This is all secure buttons in LED. That's the secure I/O part. And the user master key is guaranteed erased. Okay, so actually the device could even be used by different people. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Now, the overall summary of this architecture, you input through secure I/O this critical user secret, the user master key, which protects any number of keys and registers. You protect the execution environment on the device, which means the code, the memory, the caches, the registers, via the device master key, okay? And only through the trusted software module you may operate on the user master key and whatever it protects, okay? So what are the instructions we need? Well, you need something that initializes the device master key, and this may only be done by the secure BIOS, okay? You need something that retrieves the user master key, and this may only be done by a TSM, a trusted software module, because you need the user master key to get the other keys and so forth. Then you need something to say you're going into a secure execution mode, SEM mode. So that's the begin SEM and then the following end SEM. And you need SEM load and SEM store, which I have previously called secure load and secure store, okay? Now, of course, you have the normal instructions as well. This requires 4 registers and 2 flags and a total of only 450 bits, 450 flip-flops. You need 2 cache bits per unified cache line and 1 bit per split cache line in the L1 cache. And that's the entire new hardware that you need in a processor. So what are our contributions? The scientific contributions, I think, are one we have shown that you can really solve quite a critical, important problem, which is protecting the user's sensitive information using very minimalistic architecture. Okay. It protects the master keys, which protects the other keys, which then protect all the other information. Second thing is you have decoupled users from devices so that a user can access his secret information stored online from multiple devices, assuming they are SP-enabled devices, okay? And in fact, multiple users may use the same device. And I think this is a much more convenient and realistic model than tying the access of information to a given device for a given user, okay? Because users tend to have many devices. Thirdly, there's no permanent secret. All these things are not burnt in at the factory and cannot be compromised by compromising the factory database. Fourthly, these master keys are symmetric keys, and so they are much faster in symmetric key encryption and take less storage. And so finally, I think we have achieved the goal of security without compromising performance, cost, or usability, okay? Now, I was going to another model, but I think we are probably out of time, right, Cynthia? Yes, so I'm going to just tell you some of the new work we have been doing. This is with one of my PhD students, Jeff Dorskin. And the idea is authority mode and remote trust. So in this case, in the first case, we had the user protecting his own information with keys that he has rights to access. But what if the user is going to access information that he has only a temporary right to, and those keys are not his, and he should not permanently be entitled access to those keys? So the idea is in things like crisis response, as a natural disaster, a medical emergency, a fire, a terrorist attack. Now, these carriers of SP PDAs, maybe firemen or first responders, they must be allowed access to critical information like building plans or people and so forth. But they should not have access to this information after the crisis. And so we define authority mode for SP that allows some authority to own these SP devices that it gives out to these first responders in the field, and allows that remote trust from the remote authority of these SP devices to do the right thing. And the data sources and keys are secondary from other sources that have prior agreement with the authority that under these circumstances, these SP users may access that data. So I'm not going to go into any of these, but to tell you that in fact, a peek at the solution, the part which deals with protecting the execution environment is the same, but the part that deals with whether the user enters his keychain or a remote authority enters its key and its derived keys is a little different. So let me skip all this because I do want to summarize by talking about some of the future research, okay, that we would like to do. So one, we've defined SP architecture to be especially simple, but even then, we are not quite sure how to prove the security properties and protocols of the SP architecture. We would like to be able to mathematically prove it, or at least use some sort of systematic reasoning, more thorough than my English, okay, and a paper, to prove even these 4 simple registers and this simple protocol, okay, and the simple processes. Second is, we have provided essentially 2 critical secrets, one attached to the user, one attached to the device. And in authority mode, we've provided a 3rd secret, which is the authority's secret, okay? Now, is there some other way to use this user secret and device secret? How you have to go through many usage models, and then you see whether your architecture is truly general purpose and whether it has captured the fundamental essence that you want to, because only those fundamental features you put in the hardware, okay? Now, which features of the operating system kernel should not be compromised? I've mentioned we don't trust the commodity OS, but can SP truly function correctly if certain parts of the OS are compromised, okay? And that requires more work, which we are working with Cynthia's group on, looking at some of this. The issue of trusted or secure boot up and secure I/O beyond these LEDs and buttons must be examined, because generally you want the trusted display and trusted input of all kinds. How to do this, as well as the attestation done by the TPM. Can we simplify that and put that into SP so we don't need this external TPM, which, by the way, assumes the whole box is the security perimeter, which we don't like. And furthermore, TPM only does attested boot up, but not secure boot up, okay? So there's a problem because we need secure boot up. And the other thing is, how does the user know this is a SP device, given that there are devices around that non-SP devices? How does the device attest itself to the user? The other thing is, does the application have to generate the TSM, or can we somehow get the compiler to generate the SEM-protected TSM from a given application? Because the compiler can trace when keys are used and encryption and so forth, so maybe it can be done more automatically. And then one other thing is, a lot of people are going to virtual machine monitor environments or separation kernel environments, trusted virtual machine separation kernel environments, and what will it take to virtualize SP? So that's one other thing that we're working on in the secure group, core group. So to end up, I want to just summarize the bigger context of SP, which is the SecureCore collaborative research project that we're doing for trustworthy commodity computing and communications devices. So SecureCore is this multi-university collaboration between USC, Terry Benzel's group, and myself as the PI at Princeton, and a colleague of mine, Professor Chung, in networking. So the idea of SecureCore is to rethink computer architecture and operating system design for trustworthy commodity computing communications, and we're going to allow ourselves a clean slate design. The idea is, since we don't want to compromise performance or cost or usability, and we want to add all this security, can we get something for nothing? Okay, and I think the only way you can see that is to design from afresh. You specify your goal. Security is number one goal, together with number one goals of performance and number one goals of usability and number one goals of cost. And all these are first-class goals. If you did that from the beginning and you did a clean slate design, could you get security without compromising performance, cost, and usability? And we feel that from the clean slate design, you can generally extract out features that can be applied to existing systems, much as SP can be implemented by any microprocessor designer because it's so low cost. It can even be implemented by the embedded processors. Okay. Now, one other interesting thing about SP is we don't see any device as only OS and hardware. Networking is very much part of it. Every device is interconnected to everything else. So we would like to integrate secure ad hoc mobile networking protocols into the basic design. Therefore, SecureCore is three things: the security-aware processor, the secure operating system kernel, and the secure network protocol. In terms of the security-aware processor, what we want to do is to support the essential needs of the secure OS kernel and the secure networking protocols. But we also want to support the user-centric needs, whether or not the OS and networking people care about it. Because this is a client device, it must support client devices. Not that it cannot work on the server, but it must be able to be implemented in client device. Client devices are used by users, and users want certain things. So user-centric security needs, even if the OS is compromised, is something that the processor is interested in, okay? So we feel that it's much easier to design security into the core of the commodity products rather than add it as an afterthought or try to change all the software out there in the world, okay? And we want to propose and evaluate the hardware alternatives. So why security in the core hardware and software? Well, it seems if people attack at the insecure core, they bypass all your security at higher software levels. And secondly, it seems it's easier to replace the core in new machines. You only have to deal with a few vendors than to replace all the vulnerable software out there. And third is defense in depth, because after all, the processor is the final thing that runs all the software, and the software is the source of all the majority of vulnerabilities. So in conclusion, I hope I've shown you that the SP architecture does provide fundamental hardware hooks in the processor that software can use very flexibly in all kinds of usage models to protect sensitive information. Basically, it's provided 2 or 3 secrets. I talked about the device master key that protects the execution environment and the user master key that protects the user's secret. And I touched on the authority secret, which can enable remote trust and transient access. Okay. We talked about the trusted software module amidst all this sea of untrusted software, and the fact that SP provides this additional security without compromising performance, cost, and usability. We talked about the security-aware processor, where I think the argument is that some of the billions of transistors on the chip should be used for security and not just for performance. Okay, just give us a few, 450 bits. And the clean-slate design shows what's possible. And this is the last line of defense for software vulnerabilities. Now, on a broader perspective, the conclusion is that trustworthy computing devices need protection of secrets in order to protect all the user's other sensitive information. SP processors is an example of a minimalist type of trusted architecture. But trusted computing devices should also have attack resilience built into them. And this is another problem we're trying to look at in the context of my research at Princeton, and this is clearly an open research problem. What can the hardware do to provide fundamental features that help you to build attack resilient systems? Okay. As I mentioned, SecureCore is comprised of the security-aware processor and hardware, because it includes I/O, secure I/O, and is the secure OS kernel and the secure networking protocols. I feel this is the core of each computing and communications device, and we need this not only in the secure military devices, but in all the commodity devices, because the commodity devices contribute to the security of cyberspace, and also because of dual use by military of commodity products. So this requires a great deal of interdisciplinary research across all these methods, including formal methods for proving and so forth. And it is an essential problem to solve. Deployable solutions are essential, not only to protect the user's own information, but for the security of cyberspace. And that's all. So any of my papers you can get at my research website, which is PALMS for Princeton Architecture Lab for Multimedia and Security. And that has a website for our publications, as well as a website for SecureCore and PEX and PLX. PEX is a crypto processor that we have designed for constrained devices, and PLX is a multimedia processor that we have designed. Okay, thank you.